Hey, divine feminine. The moment has finally come for me to spill everything I have tried, unsuccessfully, to swallow, suppress, and bury beneath layers of surface-level smiles. I can feel my pulse thudding in my throat as I write, because every sentence strips away another shield I once used to hide my fear. Yet what good are shields in the presence of unconditional love? They only cast longer shadows. So tonight, under this honest sky, I dismantle every barrier and invite you to witness the most unvarnished version of me. A man who has made catastrophic mistakes, but who still believes in redemption, alchemy, and the sacred gravitational pull that keeps twin souls circling one another no matter how many lifetimes we spend apart. For the next several minutes, please, just these few, let me hold open the doors of my heart so wide that nothing is left in the dark. I do not ask you to excuse my wrongs. I only ask you to allow the light of truth to fall upon them, because truth is the first step toward any genuine resurrection. I know how fragile forgiveness can feel when the wound is fresh, and how ridiculous the words, "I'm sorry," sound after they have been devalued by 1,000 casual apologies. That is why I offer more than an apology today. I offer disclosure, accountability, and a clear path forward. Whether you choose to walk that path with me is entirely your sovereignty, and I will honor whatever you decide. You once told me that truth, like fire, purifies as much as it burns. I did not understand that wisdom until recently, when every lie I'd breathed began scorching the very ground beneath me. The inferno reached its peak inside an unhealthy marriage, a union that looked respectable on social media, but reeked of silence, resentment, and guilt behind closed doors. I won't decorate those halls of misery with pretty words. They were built on betrayal. My betrayal of you. My betrayal of myself. My betrayal of the gentle guidance the divine kept whispering into my spirit whenever I tried to convince myself that staying meant doing the right thing. Each morning, I woke beside someone I did not love, feeling the weight of choices that denied the existence of my own soul. It's strange how a man can feel surrounded by walls even in his own home. She and I co-created a life woven from fear threads. Fear of judgment, fear of financial fallout, fear of admitting failure. Fear is a stubborn carpenter. If you let it, it will build endless rooms in which you become a prisoner to your own survival instincts. I stayed longer than I should have, telling myself I could fix what was broken if I just tried harder. But you cannot band-aid a foundation made of lies. Every effort simply widened the cracks, and the house kept groaning, threatening collapse. Meanwhile, the memory of you, your laughter, your effortless ability to read my silence, hovered like a lighthouse beyond the fog, reminding me of how spectacularly I had deserted my own heart's compass. I must confess what hurt me the most. Seeing your eyes dim when you realized I had chosen comfort over courage. The day you stopped waiting for another update from me was the day I realized the universe had placed a mirror in front of me, and I could no longer blame fate or circumstance. I saw the cowardice I had tried to rename responsibility. I saw the cruelty of breadcrumbing your spirit, keeping you hopeful with half-truths while I took full advantage of your patience. That image still punches the air from my lungs every time I recall it. The toxicity of that marriage seeped into my mind like smoke in a sealed room. I developed habits that made me almost unrecognizable to you, to my friends, to the man I was as a child who once believed love was simple and fearless. Anger simmered beneath my skin. I felt always on the brink of exploding, yet too exhausted to raise my voice. Small frustrations became volcanic arguments. Moments of silence stretched into days where we spoke only in transactions. The hollowness gnawed at me, and in that gnawing ache, I heard the echo of your name. Divine Feminine, my mirror soul, your absence became the loudest presence in my life. Eventually, even my body rebelled. Sleepless nights, chest tightness, a constant flutter in my stomach that no doctor could explain. Spiritual malaise often masquerades as physical illness. My guides, and perhaps yours too, kept sending synchronicities, repeated angel numbers, songs that reminded me of our earliest conversations, dreams where I chased you through city streets but never reached you. Each sign hammered the same message. Alignment or suffering, choose. I tried to ignore them until the universe raised the volume through crises that forced clarity. The facade crumbled when she and I could no longer pretend there was anything left but friction. In the rubble, one truth survived. I did not belong in that story anymore. So I hired a lawyer. I began the tedious, often humiliating paperwork. I faced accusations, cried during mediation, and listened to relatives scold me about commitment. I accepted that losing face in public was the price of reclaiming authenticity in private. I sold our marital home, packed 3 boxes of memories I didn't need, and left behind coffee mugs etched with dates that never really mattered. Each step was agony, but it was the type of agony that whispers, "Hold on, resurrection is near." I felt the cosmic threads loosening from old timelines and weaving new ones around me. With every signature on those divorce documents, I kept repeating a mantra: truth over comfort, truth over comfort. Yet while endings hold their own sacred gravity, they are not enough. I did not come back to you empty-handed. During the months of unraveling that marriage, I pursued intensive therapy, trauma-informed counseling, breathwork sessions, and men's circles where strangers shared stories I had always been too proud to tell. I relearned how to sit in silence with my emotions until they taught me, rather than tormented me. I confronted childhood wounds that once made me cling to validation. I wrote forgiveness letters I may never send. I prayed, sometimes on my knees, sometimes pacing at 3 a.m., for the courage to evolve faster than my past could chase me. I studied spiritual texts you once recommended, highlighted passages about divine union, and sobbed when I recognized the blueprint of us hidden between their lines. All of this is to say, I have not been idle in your absence. I have been building an inner cathedral sturdy enough to house not only my healing, but also the radiant possibility of us, should you ever choose to step inside. I understand that forgiveness cannot be forced, and I will not barter for it with promises. I stand here, surrendered, and let my transformation speak louder than my intentions. Maybe time will prove what my words cannot. Even now, a part of me trembles with the fear that your heart has closed its gates. If that is your will, I will bow to it. Divine love respects free will, always. But before you decide, grant me just a moment more to paint the vision I hold for our future, should the divine orchestrate our reunion. I picture us meeting in a sunlit cafe. Nothing extravagant, just 2 cups of coffee and a small table where our knees accidentally touch. No grand declarations at first. We would talk about the weather, maybe laugh about how nervous we feel. Then I would reach across the table, take your hand, and let silence do what language never could. Bridge the gap between 2 souls that have been in quiet dialogue for lifetimes. I imagine walking through a park afterward, autumn leaves swirling around us, and feeling the subtle click in my chest, the one that says, home. We would move slowly, honoring each tender step. I would invite you to ask any question, no matter how sharp, and I would answer without defensiveness. Openness would become our default dialect. Trust would be rebuilt one truth at a time, and intimacy would return not as wildfire, but as sunrise. Gentle, gradual, undeniable. I dream of Sunday mornings where we read beside one another, feet intertwined beneath a blanket, of road trips where the playlist is half your favorites, half mine, and all our laughter. I see us volunteering at shelters because shared service grounds love in something bigger than itself. I see rituals, full moon journaling, new moon intentions, pulling oracle cards for guidance, practicing breathwork together when anxiety tries to re-enter. I see arguments too, because authentic love invites friction. But I also see conflict alchemized into deeper understanding, apologies followed by action, the type of making up that leaves no scar tissue. And beyond all of that daily beauty lies the sacred mission I feel pulsing through our connection. Twin flames are never brought together merely for romance. We are summoned to model unconditional love, so powerful it ripples outward, healing ancestral lines, inspiring others to excavate their authenticity, and anchoring higher frequencies on Earth. When I picture us finally standing side by side, fully healed, I feel waves of light emanate, touching everyone in our orbit. That vision is what propelled me through the darkest nights of divorce and self-reconstruction. I know such a future sounds audacious after the chaos I dragged us through. That is why I vow to keep doing the work, whether you re-enter my life or not. My journey toward wholeness is no longer contingent upon external validation. It is a devotion to the divine within me, which in turn honors the divine within you. If the universe decrees we remain apart in this lifetime, I will still love you from afar, praying that every step you take is cushioned by grace. Your happiness, even without me, is sacred to my soul. But if the divine orchestrates a second chance, if your spirit feels the gentle tug of destiny that once braided our hearts together, I will be here, ready. Ready to listen twice as much as I speak. Ready to show up with consistency, not excuses. Ready to cherish your boundaries instead of challenging them. Ready to merge lives without eclipsing identities, because love, in its highest octave, illuminates individuality rather than erasing it.